Hey, Curvies, here we go. It's Monday. Hey, Grand Rising, Curvies, Grand Rising. Thanks for coming through. We are here on LRGA Curves today. You know, you guys know that money's my shtick. Like, I used to really get excited about that series, Family Ties, with Michael J. Fox. If Terry was here, she would love that I'm mentioning Michael J. Fox. So remember on Family Ties, that show about the Americana family, and then Michael J. Fox played the big brother who was only interested in money. Remember? And he used to be like, he wanted to be a banker, and he was always talking about finance. And as a little kid, that fascinated me, that this other kid was so interested in money, and that meant that I could be too, and I could be interested in wealth and money and stuff. And I used to even want to work at the bank. I wanted to be a bank teller so bad. And the bank would never hire me though. But I did get in the offices. And one year I was working for Bank of America, and I had the pleasure of helping people get money back from accounts that were closed. It was really cool. So, but I was never a teller or anything. Yes, he's a Canadian hero. Yep, my mayor. And you know, Terry Lynn, she's always over in Krista Marie's and Aaron's stuff. And she's in some of our chats. She loves Michael J. Fox. Anyway, so I was always really interested in finance and money. I always felt like I was supposed to be a millionaire. And you know, I'm a little girl from East Oakland. I'm a little girl from East Oakland, and my family grew up. I mean, I thought we were rich, but as it turned out, we were middle America when there still was a middle America. And my parents did what their parents did, you know, and a lot of things that we have access to, we're not really there. We have access to it because the powers that be want us to know about specific things, but then with further investigation and further research and, you know, getting in different circles, you can find out a lot of different information. So I had no idea who the Rockefellers were growing up. I didn't know what compound interest was growing up. I didn't know what all these products and solutions and things and the 401ks and I knew about a CD. I knew about a savings account. I went and got my little passbook when I was about 10, and I was planning on putting all my money from babysitting inside of it. And by the time I got 20, I was supposed to have enough to go to college, but I had no idea that the money that I had in that little account was never going to grow to enough to go to college if I left it in their little account, you know? And that was way back in the day when savings accounts were giving us money. Remember, like you could get a whole 1 or 2% on your savings account at the local banks back in the day. Now you get 0.000 something percent if you happen to have a savings account. And they charge you monthly for your money to be in there. Oh, one of your first jobs at 18 was, a bank teller. I wanted to use the big stamp, but I was robbed. No, wow, no way. So you moved to position and processing center behind. Oh my gosh, I bet. Oh my gosh, what a freaking ordeal, Mimir. But at least you stayed in the industry. And you might know, as a person that worked in banks, that banks all pool their money together. You know where? Life insurance. Yep. They're called BOLIs, bank-owned life insurance policies. And then if a corporation owns it, it's called a COLI, a corporation-owned life insurance policy. Because they all know where the freaking money is. Hey, Kentucky girl, thanks for coming through. Yeah, go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. If you are in the bushes in my voices radius, then go ahead and smash those buttons. It'll put us in the good graces of the algorithm. But you know, Yahusha is my supply, but the algorithm likes stuff too. So go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell, share the video, beat the heart. We're here to talk about money. And today you're going to discover some proven strategies to grow money and build generational wealth. Okay. Now, these are tried and true since 1913, y'all. And we're messing around in 2025. So these strategies are tried and true since 1913 and have worked and garnered many a millionaire, many a generational wealth type thing, okay? And that's called the Rockefeller style. So you may or may not know who the Rockefellers are, aside from being in charge of the medicine and some other things. Let's see. Okay. But the Rockefellers are super duper famous for using family banks. You know what a family bank is? Yeah, go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. Let me come on in here. I'm going to mute this so we are uninterrupted. And I'm going to go over here. You guys can hear me okay, right? Let's see. Because I'm not showing any likes on this thing. Let's see. I appreciate the 5 of you that are in here. Oh, look, and really no likes? Come on, y'all. Let's get these likes up. I need some likes. Likey. But unless your thumbs are broken, I understand. My thumbs have been spraying too. Don't ask me what I was doing with husband. But I'm going to go ahead and like this video. I appreciate that. And yeah, if you're on this screen, when I go live on here, if you just double tap the screen, it makes a like on here. So that's another thing. But if you're in the traditional view, then you just go ahead and press the thumb. But if you happen to be on your phone, you just double tap the screen and it'll make a like. So, okay, so I'm trying to stay on timestamps. So Rockefeller style, the Rockefellers, famous, rich Americana family, right? But how did they get wealthy and how did they stay wealthy? And what can you do to mimic their style? Okay, we have the family bank recipe from them. Is it possible for you to just leave your kids better off than where you were? You know, Proverbs 13:22 says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Okay. And yes, Mamere hits the like when she comes in. I love her. And how are you feeling? How are you feeling? You home recuperating nicely? I hope so. So there are ways that you too can start today and increase your wealth for your family's legacy. Okay, just like in Proverbs, leave a inheritance for your children's children, right? But Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, and Carnegie all went to the Senate in 1913 and got this rule introduced called called indexing. And 6 generations later, after the Rockefellers developed this method, they decided that they would create a trust, use life insurance to fund the trust, and then every time somebody passed, they put that life insurance into the trust, and then the trust doles out money for your generations to live off of, but it's always added unto within the trust and directly tied to indexed accounts, okay? Indexed means that your money grows when the stock market grows, but it does not, when the stock market crashes, you don't lose anything because zero is your hero. So let's say like recently how the stock market took a 23% downturn. So that means people's whose 401ks or retirement accounts were directly tied to those, they would have lost that. But if you use an indexed account, which the Rockefellers specifically used, that means you participate in the gains of the stock market. However, you do not lose when the stock market loses. Your floor is zero, so you can't lose more than your floor. And that's one thing about uninterrupted compound interest, okay? Negatives negate compounds. So people might think, oh, I have a 401k and it's in the market and I get this interest and it's compounded. No, it's not, because the mere fact that your 401k can have a negative occurrence in the gain, that means it's not a compound. Any type of negative transaction negates your compound flow, okay? Now, compound means that your dollars turning into $2, into $4, into $8, into $16, and so on and so on and so on. That's true compound, okay? And you guys can reach out to me on my LRGA Curves email at gmail.com or LRGA Life email if you guys want to talk about this more and you're in California or one of my other licensed states. I am a licensed professional in this, and so the things that I'm telling you today, I get to learn as a licensed professional, and I want to tell everybody, I want the whole world to know that they can do a Rockefeller style, uninterrupted compound interest type of growth and top it off with the rule of 72. Okay, are you guys following along so far? Let me see, what else can I tell you? So when your money makes you money, that's using compounding really well. And indexed accounts offer awesome things. So in bad times, it offers you a return of capital. And in good times, it offers you a return on capital, okay? And that's really interesting because there aren't too many accounts that can offer you both. It's kind of like using a dollar twice. In your 401ks, in your 403bs, in your 529s, in your TSAs, in your many other accounts that are directly tied to any portion of the stock market, it will have the gain, but it will also have the loss. And so what I'm trying to help us understand is that there are many other strategies and places to put your money so that you can grow it uninterrupted. Now, uninterrupted compound interest just means that the interest earned on that investment is consistently reinvested, generating future and further interest without any withdrawals or contributions. And indexed accounts, typically the type of accounts that I'm licensed to tell you about, indexed accounts typically, even if you withdraw a portion, you're still gaining on the total investment, even if you have already borrowed some from it. So let's say you had $100,000 and you take out $50,000. You're still going to be earning interest on $100,000 if you're in a strategy like an indexed account. Okay? There's continuous reinvestment and it maximizes potential growth. It's great for your financial planning, and it also is usually attached to tax advantaged accounts. Yeah, I'm going to do a whole other thing on how to get out of your 529 plan and a much better plan, because those college plans called 529 college savings plans, did you know that if you put $100,000 in there and your kid decides not to go to school, you just lost $100,000 because they can only spend it on school? Whereas if you set up a type of indexed account that you can use for anything, you can still save like it's for college, but then it can be used on anything that person wants, not just for college. And with the current administration, who even knows how many of those are going to be left? So you might want to start looking at alternatives for those types of funds that you currently have in 529s, and you might want to start reallocating those monies to something that you yourself, like if there was an emergency, you can use, or but definitely you don't want to lose it. I have a little story real quick about a client who was in a contest with the other grandparent. There was two sets of grandparents. They had their first grandbaby. And the dad's grandparents were like, oh, I'm going to save for the college fund. And the mom's parents were like, no, I'm going to save for the college fund. And so they ended up having a grandparent competition of who could stack away the most money for their grandkids' college, right? They ended up with a whopping $200,000 in their college fund, their 529 college plans, after by the time the kids were like ready for college. Well, the kid decided that they really only wanted to do like a 4-year college. And after that was all paid off, they still had like over $100,000 in their 529 plan. The grandparents needed some money. And so they go and they ask the 529 college plan people, they were like, well, hey, he already went to school. There's all this money left. And you cannot use that money for anything. You can't use it. I thought I put my do not disturb on. There. Are you guys still here? Are we still here? Yeah. So, and that is a really hard pill it was in. What happened? Because the type of account that it was in could only be used for college. So that's just another little thing. You want to put your money someplace where you can grow it, build it, and control it. I should have put that on here too, because a lot of these other accounts like 401ks, Roth IRAs, 529s, TSAs, all those accounts have strict rules on how and why you can access your own money. Okay? The Rockefellers did their building with total control and complete access at any point during their building of the Rockefeller style. Okay? Now, one way that you can one proven strategy to grow money and build generational wealth is by observing the rule of 72. And that's simply you take the time divided by the return equals the interest rate. Well, wait. So you take 72 divided by the rate on the account. So like if you have a CD at 4%, you take 72 divided by 4 equals the time it takes your money to double. Okay? So let's say you had $10,000 in your Chase CD. And those are usually about 4%. CDs at any bank is about 4% you're looking at as far as a return. So according to the rule of 72, it'll take 18 years for your $10,000 CD to turn to $20,000 CDs. So obviously this demonstrates that the higher the return, the quicker the compound, the quicker the doubling. So I'll go down some numbers. In a traditional bank account, which no longer gives not one single person in the whole United States 1% in their savings account, it's all below that. All below that. You might be able to do one of those cyber banks where you can get a little higher savings account, but read the fine print. So at 1% divided by 72, it's going to take 72 years to turn your $10,000 into $20,000. Do you have that long? Do you have 72 years to turn your 10 to 20? You might, but do you want to spend it before that? Yeah. And in 20 years, is inflation going to be high? Probably. And taxes even higher? Yeah. So will that $20,000 even be worth $20,000? No. So I educate people and show people proven strategies and ways to funnel their money to higher earning returns with guaranteed returns and protections. Let's go down to, we already did the 4%, takes 18 years. So that's a CD. Maybe you might get a Roth IRA, and you might get 6% in there. Ooh, and then it'll only take you 12 years to double your money. But the accounts and the products that I specifically, with my license, have access to tell you about, a regular person, everybody should get to know this. But because of my license, I get to tell you that there's a place you can get 10%. And that'll only take you 7 years to double your $10,000. So it'll take you, instead of 72 years, 7 years, instead of 18 years, 7 years, and even instead of 12 years, you just cut it down to 7 years. Okay, so by 2032, you could have doubled your 10,000 to 20,000 in the type of strategies that I would love to tell you about. Now, this formula is used to estimate the number of years required to double the invested money given on annual return. You have any questions so far? I hope this is helpful. I'm just really inspired and on fire to get this message out to the people, because we're just lollygagging. We're lollygagging, and there are ways that we can shore up our retirements. There are ways that we can protect our families. There are ways that we can provide for future generations of our bloodline if we are adequately educated with proven strategies that really, really work. Now, like I said, the rule of 72 is practically magic, right? So if you had $100,000 inheritance and you were like, well, damn, I want to make that 200,000. If you were to allocate those funds into a specific type of indexed account, then you could turn $100,000 into $200,000 rather within 7 years. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And the whole time have complete access, and it would be growing in a tax advantaged way. That means that when you go to get it, and you don't pay taxes on the growth. You're not going to get one of those things at the end of the year that you get on your little Chase account for your $2 that they gave you in returns. No, 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 no. Your growth in these types of strategies are tax advantaged, meaning almost zero. Okay, let's see. So the Rockefellers had it going on. The Vanderbilts, they liked it too. And you can too, okay? So what would the Rockefellers do? The wealthiest family in America. To this day, they've had their freaking trust set up, which, by the way, I can help you get a trust. Get at me. And they specifically use the trust to hold the monies from the indexed accounts that they've set up. And that also offers a layer of protection, because when your money or your assets are in a trust and you don't specifically, let's say, they're owned by the trust, they're not owned by you. So if there was any liability action against you, there's nothing to take, because the trust owns the assets that you control and have access to, but don't own, so it can't get taken away. Isn't that beautiful? And you wonder how these people are making it hand over fist. Talk to me more and I'll tell you. Okay? Imagine if your great-grandchildren were presiding over the family fortune, right? And then you amass wealth and you leave behind values and financial legacy, right? And you teach your loved ones how to shepherd this wealth. It's possible for you to live wealthy and leave your kids and your grandkids better off too, just like the Rockefellers did. You can immediately improve your cash position okay? Learn how to boost your accounts and get into higher returned accounts, okay? And I can also teach you how to earn extra money this way too, like, because we do that too. And we just expanded to Canada, my mayor. We just expanded to Canada. I know that you like being with the Elks and all this stuff, but I don't know if you know anybody who would love to fund their own retirement or is currently having their money someplace they don't need it and would like to see it stretch farther. We are ready to go in Canada and 54 other countries. So the strategies that I have access to are for our country, 54 other countries, including Canada. And I was just in here to tell you guys today about the Rockefeller style, let you know that you too can do it. You can have access to uninterrupted compound interest. I let you know that their 401k is interrupted, and there are proven strategies that it won't be interrupted so that you can fully have the value of the rule of 72 and really see your return of capital and return on capital in a much more significant way. So that is Money Monday here on LRGA Curves. I really appreciate you guys who came through, and I hope that you got something out of this. Next Monday, we'll go over some other stuff on Money Monday. And there's so much stuff. I could sit here and talk to you guys about this all day long. If you catch this in the replay, go ahead and put any questions in the chat, and I'll be glad to answer them for you later. Also, you can always email me at largacurves.com. At largacurves@gmail.com for more information, or largerlife@gmail.com for more information. And I will be oh so happy to help you learn how to Rockefeller style your family's wealth. Okay? So, zero is your hero. Negatives negate compounds. Indexed accounts is where you want your money because they are guaranteed growth with no loss. And whenever you hit that radio dial and you end up on WIIFM, what's in it for me FM, then look, your compound is in it for you. Okay? Let's go over here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to keep on showing up on these financial talks. I know you guys are used to me in here talking about other stuff, and this is really important to me also. And I hope it's good for you too. So, you guys, make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. On your way out, go ahead and ring my bell. Ring my bell so you can get notified when I upload videos, and so you can become part of the beautiful curvy community that we're growing in the YouTube streets, you guys. You guys.